Do you remember what the first song was that kind of got fleshed out or kind of started?
Yeah, it was The Fire of Love,
Okay.
which is, which is also the one that I spent the most time on lyrically, and that was really my way into the whole album itself.
And well, let me ask. I'll ask it first of you. How do you look at that song now? Well, kind of how it turned out.
All of those songs sit in a sort of different place than for me, because I'm in a different headspace,
Sure.
But that one, there's enough sort of harmonic intrigue and little Easter eggs that in that song that I really enjoy sort of discovering new things about it.
And what kind of struck me, and then I might be wrong in this, but that the track listing, the way it is on the record, is kind of the arc of a relationship, perhaps.
Yeah.
But then, is that right?
Yeah. I really took a lot of care in shaping a narrative out of the album. It starts off sort of naively hopeful and with a lot of will and an intention to hold something together, and then it moves through sort of a realization, and then a bit of anger and jealousy, and then a sort of dialogue, and then like a resolve at the end.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
But so the fire of love. Am I right in saying that was kind of the anger jealousy part?
No, that's more the giving up.
Okay.
That's an acceptance of a term that there's not much more to be done. At that point, the anger and the jealousy, that's can I call you, and that's
okay.
A little bit I know a jeweler. Yeah, that's sort of around that period of the album.
Because in terms of writing those songs, and you say that one of the first ones was the Fire of Love. So when kind of did I Know a Jeweler kind of turn up? Was there a certain natural arc in kind of the sentiments?
And the chronology of it, of the writing?
No, well, I can only compare it with the stages of grief or something. But that first there was anger, and when you were back home in London, that first you wrote with anger a bit, or.
There's I guess a little bit, but I was also sort of filling out. I don't know. There was some intention to fill out the spectrum as I, and go, okay, what's missing?
Okay.
I started to get a little bit more. I started to get my head about me a bit more,
Right.
And go, okay, I can be smart about this. What parts of the story are missing now,
And you said, before you wrote more of a narrative style, a little bit more detached. Writing about your personal life, especially now that you know that you have an audience, how did that affect the way you wrote?
It really didn't. Okay. As I say, it was such a necessary process for me. That and I need. Yeah, it was therapeutic, and I needed to do it to understand. It was. For the first time in my life, I'm using music as a way of understanding my own feelings and
right.
and my own sort of version of a situation. Yeah.
Did you surprise yourself in that sense, in maybe how you saw certain things?
Yeah, and and even talking to you, that all of this stuff is all part of it too, because you might ask me a question that I go, oh crap, I didn't even think about that,
right?
Or I'll just. Yeah, you're just sort of forced to think about things again, and I'm pretty forgetful, so I'll quite often it'll all come out, and I'll forget why exactly why that was there in the first place.
Right. And I also wrote a couple of lyrics down. We don't have to get into it too much, but one thing I definitely want to mention is the final track, "Make Way for Love," the title track. The song ends with, "Oh, let the wonder of the ages be revealed as love." So why this line to end the album?
Well, it's a cliched, universal sounding line. That one, that's me finally giving over to the whole experience. It's the terrible and wonderful beast that love is, and saying, it's coming, so make way.
Right. But so to me it sounds a bit hopeful in a sense that it's kind of okay now.
Yeah, well, with both that song and Love Is a Terrible Thing, I'm playing around with people's perceptions of what's a positive and negative spin on love. Because for me, Love Is a Terrible Thing is, the word terrible in its oldest sense is it's not as pejorative as people think about it. It's like our God is a just and a terrible God. It's like there's something more neutral, and it's more about energy than positivity and negativity. And in Make Way for Love, by the same token, it sounds hopeful, but there's nothing really. It's just that we think love is wonderful, as a general thing. Right,
you're supposed to think.
Yeah, but there's no positive or negative. It's just watch out, it's coming. Make way.
Right. Okay. And then obviously in the track in between, Nobody Gets What They Want Anymore. You kind of reconnected with the one you were.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that can be quite difficult. So what was it like for you? Kind of, was that the intent when you wrote it?
Yeah. Well, I found myself writing this duet, and it was because I thought, I've got to be careful here. But I wanted to represent her side, but it's my side. It's me putting words in her mouth.
Right.
But it's I needed the dialogue to some sort of tension to come into the album, and for me that I learned the most about myself through that song, and just the fact that she agreed to voice my words from her perspective, which is such a convoluted thing, but that brought me a lot of peace and a sense of closure.
You say you learned the most from it, and if I'm prying too much, you can say. But so
I'll let you know.
What was it that you kind of discovered in that song?
Well, I think I discovered that I was able to forgive her and us. That's what it is. It's an apology to. It's a defense. It's a defense of the whole situation.
Right.
So there's forgiveness in there, and there's just it showed me that I still have a lot of love there, and it was just a really nice feeling.
Okay. So not giving up on love just yet.
No, it's not at all.
Fair enough. So that was the dark bit, and then now to the lighter bit. You went to America to record. What was it like then going through these songs in a totally different setting, totally different mindset, and then do you go back and forth emotionally to those?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, you can't help but get snapshots of the place you're in when you're writing them.
Right.
But it was stressful. We had 10 days, and I was working with a brand new producer in a place I'd never been before. And I was spending a lot of money to do it, so it's, it was the stressfulness and the need to actually just work, sort of overrides everything, and you've done the heart work,
right?
The heart work, and now you've got to really think about it and do the head work.
But yeah, is that one of those things where if you have a set deadline, then you kind of have to, so it's easier to make decisions?
Yeah, exactly. We need rules and impositions, otherwise nothing ever gets done and it's just chaos.
Right. So sonically, was there a certain thing that you were looking for, maybe in the way you sang, or in kind of the vibe of the song?
It's all, for me, as a writer, the sounds, I can hear what it sounds like as I'm writing it, Right. And I'd already decided that I wanted to work with Noah as a producer, and so I guess that was in a way informing the way I was writing, in terms of how I was visualizing these songs, So it was really like a convergence of energy, of going, okay, this song, because yeah, when I write a song, I can pretty much hear everything about it, and you know, it's not like I'm writing lyrics down and then going, oh, how's this melody going to work? It's like it's like I take a cross section and you just sort of stretch it out. So, yeah.
When you are in the booth and singing those lines, is that a hard thing to do? Is that to get to the right emotion?
It was with some of them.
Is there one example you can give of a
Like,
kind of a day or in the studio? Or?
Well, I actually found "Love's a Terrible Thing" really hard, because because we're getting near the end of the process, and I was just a little bit exhausted, I think, you know, and also I had to do it in one, you know, I had to record it all in one take, and I'm not a very good piano player either, so I had to sing and play at the same time and do it all in one, and I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what it was about it, but it just, I don't know. I was sort of semi-crying as I was singing it, and yeah, it's a hard thing to put my finger on, but that button for some reason just got me.
And then once the album is done, and then you say that, earlier you said at first that you only write for yourself. So now that it's going out to the world, what are your thoughts on that? Is it important that it's received well in a sense?
Well, I mean, it is in the sense that I want to keep playing music, you know, and I need people to listen to it for me to be able to keep doing it. And you know, I like validation, you know, from outside. I especially like other artists enjoying my music, you know. Your peers are the ones you want to really get into it. But I really like performing, and I think it's always interesting to me to have new songs to try and, you know, to use as entertainment, especially when they're so personal. It's like, how can I use this as a vehicle to keep people awake for 2 hours, you know?
Can I assume that you've already played some of these songs live?
Can I Call You is the only song we haven't brought into the set yet, so it's...
What if have you noticed a difference in, because again, like you say, you had more of a narrative storytelling type of writing. Have you noticed a difference in the way people interact with the new music?
Yeah, you know, I had one woman who was really worried about me. She's like, she was genuinely concerned that I was too sad, you know, like it's like, oh, you're always so distant from me, and now there's something going on with you. It's like, yeah, of course there is. It's like, you know, we've all got stuff going on. It's like, but it's fine. This is all part of my, just because I do it publicly, and you know, I'm fine. Right.
That's funny. So finally then, is this a way of writing that you've now embraced, or can you see yourself writing more in that narrative style?
I really don't know. You know, all I know is that I did it once one way, and on this last album I've done it another way, and it remains to be seen what's next.
So it kind of depends on, I suppose, then what you experience in that.
Yeah, I know as much as you do.
Fair enough. Marlon, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.